I am not able to understand why the economy of India is going down.
Yes, there's no doubt that the growth rates in India have slowed from their recent highs. This is a very important issue because of all the poor people in India, which are obviously wanting better standards of living. What has been the major cause of this growth slowdown? It's basically a number of speed bumps which have arisen, which constrain the speed with which the economy can grow. What are these speed humps? It's basically lack of infrastructure investment, so lack of power generation, lack of roads, lack of rail, which constrain the speed with which the economy can grow. The authorities have taken steps to alleviate this investment shortfall, and as those investments come into the economy, we fully expect India will be able to resume its very high growth rates that it was several years ago.
Okay, analytics basically say that India is a very fast-growing country, but I, being a middle-class person, and my peers, we don't feel the same. We don't feel that we have any advantage. Why is that so?
Hard as it is to believe, India is a fast-growing country, but one entity is growing faster than India's growth itself, and that is Indian inflation, which tends to erode the purchasing power of people's incomes. For example, food inflation has been in double digits for the last 5-6 years, and we all know that onion prices have increased 5 times over the last decade. Also, education has certainly risen, standards of education in India. This is very good, but what has not kept pace with the rate of growth is the rate of job creation. So until job creation begins to be boosted by such things as improving the business climate and greater investment, as I mentioned earlier, then you'll begin to see job creation increase, which will certainly, along with lower inflation, will improve the purchasing power and the incomes of your average Indian.
Foreign currency is going up, Indian currency is come down. Why?
Yes, this is an important question. Obviously, everyone's focused on the rupee dollar exchange rate, which in the middle of last year certainly came under a lot of pressure. We've seen the rupee rise from about 50 rupees to the dollar at the start of 2012. Now at the start of 2014, it's about 62 rupees to the dollar. What does that mean? Rupee is less competitive. But we would expect that given the rupee is already depreciated and we've seen a big boost to export competitiveness coming around because of the depreciation, we would expect going forward that the balance between exports and imports would become closer, so that Indian exports would become more competitive, and then you'll see less pressures on the rupee.
I don't understand why are the rich are getting richer day by day and the poor getting poorer day by day. What about that?
Yes, this is obviously a key question for India, where it has most of the world's poor people. Absolute numbers of poor have actually fallen quite a deal, from about 400 million in 2005. Now there's about 270 million as of 2012. So the numbers of poor in India are definitely smaller. But what has also happened is that the distribution of income between rich and poor has also become a little more skewed. Why is that happening? As the structure of the economy moves away from agriculture into services, then in a sense, the better educated having command over higher incomes and salaries than those in the poor. What can the authorities and policymakers do to try and rebalance the scales there? One thing they can do is shrink the inflation, which is definitely, as I mentioned earlier, a tax on the poor. They've also started better targeting subsidies so that they're more targeted on the poor themselves rather than universally available. And with those fiscal savings, begin to invest in health and education, particularly of the poor, which will improve their quality of life.